Let's talk about indexing and slicing iterables. So an iterable is really anything that you can loop through, such as arrays, sets, tuples, or even strings. And so what I want to show you is a non-subscriptable error. But first, before we do that, we need something that's non-subscriptable. And what non-subscriptable means is if I have a list, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I could print LST and then 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And so when we're talking about indexing, an index is this here. This is going to be index 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And computers always start counting at the number 0. Why? I'm not sure. Probably because the number 0 is actually a number to a computer, and it doesn't mean nothing. That's more of a human concept. It's not really a computer concept. So that's my explanation. Whether that's right or wrong, I have no idea. But if we wanted to get the number 1 in here, we would do 0. And let's go ahead and actually change this. So let's get rid of that and work with this properly. So we're not going to get confused with these. 1, 2, 3. Let's just do 3. And so if I run this, LST, and I get the 0 index, that's going to be this first one, 0, 1, and 2. It just happens to be that the value is called 1, 2, and 3. So let's go ahead and run this. Python indexing and slicing.py, and it says 1. If I change this to 2, which one do you think this is going to run? Remember, it starts counting at 0. 0, 1, 2. So this is now going to say 3. This is called an offset. Offsets are kind of difficult to wrap your head around in computer science and in programming, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes basically second nature. So this makes it subscriptable. A list is subscriptable. That means we can use this particular value in here. And so we're saying list, and because it's subscriptable, we use a hard bracket. The index we want to use, so the index number, closing bracket, and this tells it to pick out number 2. So 0, 1, 2, and then we close the print statement. Now let's go ahead and give a Boolean a value here. Let's say it's true, and we could say b, just the variable b, and let's give it the 0 index here. Now notice how it doesn't have a list of things. It doesn't have 1, 2, or 3 in it. It's not a list, tuple, set, or a string, or really anything that's subscriptable. We're going to see some sort of error in here. And it actually says, type error, bool, this is a Boolean, it's an object, everything in Python is called an object, is not subscriptable. And that means we simply cannot use an index in it. And so that is an example of a non-subscriptable error. Now, what if we wanted to, in our list here, let's go ahead and add some more. 4, 5. What if we wanted to just get the first one? Well, that's easy. We know that already. We could do LST 0. What if we wanted to get multiples? What if we wanted to get 1, 2, and 3? We could do list 0 and then print list 1 and list 2. Or we could do 0, and then where does it stop at? 3. So let's go ahead and run this, and we're going to need to print this as well. Print our list, start at 0, that's 1, and go to 3. And this needs to be saved first. I keep making that error. And it says 1, 2, 3. And so all this is doing is saying start at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go up to the third one. So 0, 1, 2, and it goes up to the third one. Remember 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is technically the third one, and it's going to say, grab all of those. Now we could also say, start at a particular number and go all the way to somewhere else. So we could say 2, colon, colon, and when we do this, let's just run that, it says 3, 4, 5. So it starts at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to start at 2, right? 0, 1, 2, and the colon, colon means go straight to the end. And we could also work our way backwards. We could say list -1, so start at the very back. And what do you think this is going to do? If this one is 0, that's our index, what is -1? Is it going to be 5? Or is -0 5? See, that's a good question. And this is why we need to experiment with Python as we're learning. It's always fun to experiment and learn how things work. We're going to see that this is actually 5 because 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Let's go ahead and try -5 and see what this runs. Boom! It worked its way backwards. So if we ever just wanted like the last 2, we could say -2, ::, and this is going to give us 4 and 5. Just like this, 4 and 5. Now, strings are also iterables. And we can do the same thing here. So we can say course is equal to Python 101, print course, and then we can give it also an index. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so let's say we wanted the n. We would go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's print that, and that's going to give us the letter n. Now, what I would like you to do for your task is let's uncomment that and do a list. So lst is equal to something. It doesn't have to be called lst. It could be called literally anything. And I want you to experiment with different index numbers, with different slicing and indexing. Remember, this is called slicing if we use colons. If we don't use a colon or a set of colons, this is called an index. So this is an index, but what's going to be returned here is a slice from this array or from this list. Go ahead and give this a shot. Have some fun with it, tinker around with it, and just get some muscle memory to remember that this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and bam, 4. Try that out, get some hands-on experience with this. In the next lesson, we're going to learn how to accept user input so that we can work with it.